Wayan walked into the waves, feeling the semi-warm water swish over her ankles. "Reki, Langa, come on," she called at the two boys who sat on beach towels in the sand as they talked. "Is the water cold?" Langa called back, looking slightly worried. "No," Wayan answered as she walked deeper into the water. She looked over at Miya, who also sat on a towel, of course, absorbed in his game as always. The group was at the beach, enjoying the sunshine, and in Joe's case, the hot girls in bathing suits. Wayan saw Langa and Reki stand up as they headed toward her, a beach ball in hand. They both waddled in and immediately started to splash each other. Wayan stole the beach ball from Reki, stepping out of the water and walking over to Miya, who didn't notice her. Wayan threw the large plastic ball directly onto Miya's face as he spluttered and fell back. Wayan laughed as Miya sat back up, looking pissed. "Oh, you asked for this," Miya seethed as Wayan ran back to the water. Miya threw off his blue sweater, leaving him in his multicolored swimming shorts as he ran after Wayan. Wayan, still laughing, fell back into the water, sitting on the soft sand as she watched Miya's approaching figure. He jumped into the water without a second thought and, as promised, splashed water onto Wayan's face, earning a squeal from the girl. Immediately reacting, Wayan splashed more water onto Miya, making sure to soak Miya's hair completely. Miya glared at Wayan as he attempted to tuck in his wet hair behind his ear, but the persistent strand of hair kept bouncing back to rest in front of his eyes. The pair splashed around for a while, until both of them were wet from head to toe. Never in Wayan's life did she think she would be having a water fight with Miya Chinen. And as much as she didn't want to admit it, it was kind of fun. Wayan's thoughts were interrupted by a splash of water directly on her face. Again? Wayan rubbed her eyes, opening them to see Miya standing there, hands on his hips as he smirked at her. "Miya Chinen, I will not resist to drown you," Wayan said as she jumped toward Miya, her body pushing his down as he fell back into the sand. Wayan did not let go, pushing down his shoulders as she glared at him. "Let me go, you expired coupon," Miya said as he tried to push Wayan off. As the two wrestled, Reki and Langa shared a glance as they laughed. Reki said loudly, "You two look like a couple." Miya and Wayan immediately paused at Reki's words. Wayan jumped away from Miya, unable to believe she had been touching him. Heat of the moment, Wayan defended. "Yeah," Miya agreed, crossing his arms as he went back to glaring at the girl. "Nice way to stop their fights," Langa commented, raising one eyebrow as he smiled at the two. "Whatever, I'm going back to get our towels," Wayan said. "Me too," Miya added. "Not that I want you to be there," he said to Wayan. "Same for us," Reki said as he grabbed Langa's hand. The four settled onto the towels, talking together as they happily ate their snow cones. They were all tired from all the action in the water. Even Miya and Wayan didn't bicker. Even Shadow came to join them, joining in their talk. "Look at Joe," Wayan snickered, pointing at the man. He was flirting with girls, but who was surprised? "I'm gonna go over there and..." Shadow started. "No, Shadow, if I was one of the girls over there and I saw you coming, I'd just run away," Wayan said nicely. Shadow looked like he was about to explode. "You're just a little girl, and you're so mean. For what?" "Damn, I call it having character." Miya rolled his eyes as he stood up. "You all are useless." Wayan, immediately knowing what he was up to, grabbed his arm. "Don't you dare, I'm doing it." "No, me." "Me," Wayan said. "Me." Miya hissed back. "Me, me, me. For fuck's sake, both of you can just go," Langa blurted as Wayan and Miya both froze. "Langa," Reki said, patting Langa's shoulder. "Sorry," Langa responded in his soft voice. "Okay, fine. We'll go together. Happy?" Wayan crossed her arms. even if I'm not happy with this decision. I'm not happy with it either. Miya narrowed his eyes at YN. Go then. Langa tilted his head. We want to see what you guys have in mind. YN and Miya shared a look, both nodding as they pranced toward Joe. Dad, Miya mumbled in a child voice as the pair crouched and pulled at Joe's shorts. Joe stared down at the two in disbelief as the teens made themselves seem as small and childlike as possible. Mom said that if you don't go back soon, she'll kill you, YN said, pointing her finger at a sleeping cherry blossom, hoping that Joe wouldn't notice that it was his friend. Joe slightly flushed as his eyes traveled up the woman's legs, squinting at the figure. Miya and YN held in their laughter as Joe realized it was Cherry. The man scowled, turning toward the two 13-year-olds with an angry expression. What? It's just Kaoru. The woman behind him stared at Joe in disgust, whispering to each other about how he had children. It's a misunderstanding, Joe tried. Please don't take Dad from us. Miya and YN squealed innocently at the same time, grabbing onto Joe tighter. The fuck? Joe grumbled. The woman gave him one last disapproving gaze as they walked away, and Joe groaned loudly. YN, Miya, I swear to God, he said as he walked away. Miya and YN smiled, satisfied, briefly forgetting their rivalry. The pair walked back to the group, earning laughs and compliments on their acting. Look at you guys, acting like friends. Why can't it always be like this? Becky asked. Because me and him being friends just won't work out, YN answered, poking Miya's arm as hard as she could. Miya twisted his arm away from her. What she said. Would you two rather be lovers then? Becky shared a laugh with Langa as Miya and YN glared at him again. Stop with these lover jokes. You think I'll ever like YN? If you're the last person on Earth, I still wouldn't date you, YN said. Becky smiled knowingly. Your feelings will come out soon enough. Whatever, fuck you, YN heard Joe say loudly in the other room. The pair were fighting again? Seriously? They had literally just arrived at the place they would be staying at. When and where? Cherry Blossom hissed back. Ooh, I need to watch this unfold, YN thought as she bounced over to the room where the two men were in. You little fucker, replied Joe as Cherry laughed. I can literally smell the sexual tension you two have. It's not normal, YN said lightly as the two men both froze to glance at the 13-year-old girl at the doorway. Basically, I sensed tension and I came as fast as I could. Aren't you a little too young for those things? Cherry Blossom asked. And, did you hear what we were saying? Oh no, don't underestimate me, YN smiled. And yes, I heard what you said. What the fuck? Joe whispered. This kid is creepy as shit. I heard that. Hold the swearing, Cherry Blossom said worriedly. She's still 13, right? No, I'm a 523-year-old vampire, YN replied sweetly. The two grown men looked as though they actually believed her. Just kidding, YN laughed. Joe and Cherry stared awkwardly at YN, gaping, before sharing a concerned glance. You both really give off married couple energy. Cherry, where is that engagement ring? YN continued. And can I be the priest at your wedding? She put her hands together. Joe, do you take Cherry Blossom as your lawfully wedded wife? Cherry Blossom, do you take Joe to be your lawfully wedded husband? The newlyweds looked both offended and horrified as they stared at YN. Go on, say your vows. When the two men stayed silent, YN tisked. Gotta take matters into my own hands. She hopped behind Cherry, imitating his voice, and said, I do. Then she quickly slid behind Joe, putting on a deeper voice as she said, I do. I now pronounce you both husband and wife, YN announced. She turned to Joe and gestured to Cherry. You may now kiss the bride. The two stared at YN, scared as they slowly backed away from their own wedding. YN smiled, satisfied at the horror she had caused, and walked away. Miya sat at the table eating his rice calmly as he played on his Nintendo. The adults were drunk and crazy. Wyan was partying along with them, seeming as a crackhead with them without alcohol. Joe and Shadow were singing Let It Go at the top of their lungs, extremely off tune, as Maya blocked his ears from the horrible noise. Let it go, Shadow screamed. Let it go, Joe sang. Maya felt a loudness shake through the entire room. I think your voices just caused an earthquake, Maya said, looking up from his game. You little shh. Joe started before Cherry grabbed his arm and stopped him. Language, Cherry said calmly. The pinkette seemed to be the only one of the adults who was acting reasonable. Oh, fuck you, Joe responded. You wish you could, Cherry shot back. You gigolo gorilla, he added for good measure. Maya rolled his eyes at the basically married couple and returned to his game, only to be pulled up by Ricky. What now? He asked impatiently. Ricky grabbed the Nintendo out of his hands, throwing it to Longa as he laughed. Maya, don't be so boring and play your games all day. Come sing karaoke with me and the others. No. I'm taking your Nintendo away for now. I'll only give it back after you sing with us, Longa called from the other side of the room, Maya's Nintendo in his hands. They had this planned out. I really regret coming. Maya crossed his arms. So are you going to sing or not? Fine, just so I can have my Nintendo back. Wyan stood there, looking displeased as she saw Maya. Why did you bring him here? We were fine without him. Because he's antisocial and we're trying to fix that, Ricky responded. Now who's going to sing next? Me, Wyan said quickly. Me, Maya said at the same time. They glared at each other. I thought you didn't want to sing, Wyan narrowed her eyes. I'm just trying to get this over with so I can go back to playing games, Maya hissed. You can sing together, Longa smiled. Immediately, Maya made a pros and cons list in his head. Pros, we'll get Nintendo back faster. Cons, we'll have to sing with Wyan. Ricky and Longa really won't stop trying to get me and Wyan together, Maya thought. Whatever, it's just one song, right? Fine, Maya seethed. I'm choosing the song, Wyan said, not letting Maya protest. Carla, play WAP by Cardi B, karaoke version. Carla immediately lit up, now playing karaoke version of WAP by Cardi B. I want Carla, Wyan said. I love Carla. She turned toward Maya. Do you know the song, right? Don't know. Maya replied flatly. Oh, well, Wait, Wyan, isn't the WAP a bit? Reggie started. Wyan interrupted by belting out the lyrics. There's some hoes in this house, there's some hoes in this house, there's some hoes in this house. Everyone paused as they all stared at the young girl singing such inappropriate lyrics. Wyan, Cherry Blossom said as he headed over to them. Joe scratched his head in confusion as he followed Cherry. Maybe you should change the song. Sing a Disney song, maybe? As a certified freak, 7 days a week. Wet ass pussy. Make that Pelage weak. Wyan sang loudly. Cherry Blossom opened his mouth in shock. The room was silent except for the loud music. Can't let her get all the attention, Maya decided. Yeah, you fucking with some wet ass pussy. Maya! I'm impressed, Maya. Wyan smiled. Where did those innocent kids at the beach personality go? Joe said. Though WAP is kind of a bop. Can I join? Sure, Wyan said. Bring a bucket and a mop. Joe shouted. Give me everything you got. Cherry cut Joe off, shedding his protective parent instinct. Cherry knows this too? Maya asked, amused. Yeah, 'cause I'm cultured. Cherry responded. Stop interrupting me. Joe barked. Stop singing my parts. Beat it up, boy. What the f... Wyan screamed, interrupting the useless argument. Extra large, extra hard. Maya followed. Put this pussy right in your face. Joe bellowed. Swipe your nose like a credit card, Cherry sang. His voice was surprisingly calm and angelic. Hop on, I want to ride, Wyan continued. I do a kid go while it's inside. Okay. The four sang through the whole song while Longa, Shadow, and Reki watched, their jaws on the floor. Yeah, same, bro, same. Wow, Longa managed after the music stopped. That was... Reki paused. Interesting? Sometimes I forget that you two are only 13, Shadow stated. Want to play Truth or Dare? Wyatt inquired. Sure, Joe nodded, with everyone else chorusing. Sure, okay. Maya thought over his options. Truth or Dare sounded interesting, but he did not want to be asked personal questions either. Longa, you promised to return my Nintendo. Longa ignored his statement as Maya glared at the blue-haired boy. Maya! Wyan had walked over to him and poked him on the cheek, hard. Are you playing or not? Don't be boring. Maya sighed. I'll play. Happy? Very. Oh my god, the authors know this chapter is kind of chaotic. Yeah. On an unrelated note, I just realized that this chapter is called Cardi B is Proud. So, do with that what you will. Okay, bye.
He's never gonna make it all that poor people he's forsaken. Karma is always gonna chase him.